about the lack of videos recently. The old man winter's knocking on the back door, and we're supposed to get like 4 inches of snow this week, so can't really do hot rod stuff. But here's a vehicle I haven't talked too much about. This is my OG daily driver. It's a 2013 Malibu. It's well option, and I haven't done anything to this car since I bought it with like 26,000 miles on it, except for oil changes. And today we're gonna do front brakes and take a look at the rear brakes. Haven't done anything with the car at all, and I don't even know if it's ever had brakes put on before. It got like 50,000 miles on it now. I bought it with 26, so we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna film a little bit of it. So that's what's going on. All right, guys, got the big heater on because it started getting a little chilly in here, but the driver's side is apart, as you can see here. It wasn't that bad to get apart. Everything came out real easy. Here's a caliper. We got the piston pushed back in. Got the bracket laying down here. And yeah, this side came apart pretty easy. I'm happy about that. I figured I might have a little more difficulty being in the northern climate with rust and everything, but yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Now, I'm no master mechanic. I have never claimed to be a master mechanic. The only thing I've claimed is I built a Camaro with the help of my friend, that friend being Garrett. Garrett is a GM technician. He's really good at what he does, and so I did call him and ask him, like, hey, how does this thing come apart? Because I wasn't 100% sure. I watched a YouTube video. It wasn't a really good YouTube video, but it gave me a general idea of how everything came apart. So with that video and then calling Garrett, we figured it out. So he's actually on his way over here. We're gonna put a tune on my pickup that I bought, and then I'm gonna have him put an eyeball on the rear brakes to see if you know how bad they are. He suggested cleaning some stuff up while we're in here, and yeah, and then I'm gonna have him show me how he likes to clean up the front calipers, or not calipers, the caliper bracket and the little pins that everything slides on, just so we have the most effective and, more importantly, the most safest brakes that we can have on this car. So there's where we're at. I'm going to start on the passenger side, getting that apart now, and if it goes anything like this side did, it should be a piece of cake. So fingers crossed that it goes easy. Yeah. Alright, real quick, what I wanted to show you guys is this was the outside brake pad. As you can see, there's a little bit of life left on it, but it was pretty bad. It was getting ready to get replaced. This was the inside pad. As you can see, the friction material is completely gone, especially there. You can see all the shiny. Yeah, that one was bad shape. That was the noise that I was hearing and feeling in the pedal and the wheel. And then right here, the outside of the rotor, it got a groove in it, but really it's not too bad. We flip it over. Yeah, that there is all grooves. It's all tore up. It's trashed. So that's why I just bought new rotors, new pads, do everything. One thing I do not like to do, my dad does this all the time, it drives me crazy, is he half-asses brakes. That's one thing I don't think anybody should cheap out on. I'm not saying go buy the most expensive pads, but if you're going to replace one rotor, replace both of them, especially on the front, so you don't have it pulling you one way or the other when you get on the brakes, especially when you get on the brakes hard. You know, not only do you want to you don't want to hurt yourself, but you really don't want to hurt anybody else on the road, especially if someone has a kid or something with them. So, yeah, I don't take brake jobs lightly. I don't think brakes should be half-assed. And that's something I could have figured out everything on my own, but if you got someone that has the knowledge, ask them. Like, big thing, like I said, you don't want to hurt somebody besides yourself, and you really don't want to hurt yourself either. So, as you can see, those are trash, so they're ready to be replaced. Alright guys, so here's the passenger side of the car. As you can see, this one here isn't all grooved up. Giving up close. It's still smooth. You know, has normal wear on it. Here's the pads. This was the inside pad. This is the inside of the rotor. And you can see that there isn't much left. Actually, hold on a second. My mistake. This is the inside pad. And you can see there's not much left on it. It wasn't completely trashed, but it was getting there. And this was the outside, and that has a little bit of meat on it, but you know, it's ready to be replaced too. So the outside of the rotor, it looks alright, you know. It don't look as bad as this one does. This one still looked worse in my opinion. There's a little bit of a groove action right there. This one here was looking pretty good. Like I said, I don't know if this car had brakes put on it previously. I bought the car used. It had 26,000 miles on it, 25 and some change. We'll just say 26. And so, you know, is what it is. But these brakes have been used. I've gotten them glowing hot several times, just being in hurries and stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. And I could feel in the pedal where they were warped too, or a rotor was warped. So I'm assuming it was the driver's side here, but I don't know if it was or not. That's why I just bought 2 of them, and we'll put an eyeball on the back. If I still feel warpage in the pedal, like vibration, then I'll assume it's probably maybe one in the back is, and those might get replaced too. So we'll see, but that's where we're at right now. Cleaning up the flange here. I wire brushed this side to get some of the rust action off of it, and gonna do the other side. Garrett's on his way over here, so we'll fire up the heater, and I'll give you a update on where we're at here in a little bit. Oh, one thing I did forget, this side here, it came apart easy, but it wasn't as easy as the driver's side of the car. The driver's side of the car really came apart good. These bolts right here, they hold the caliper bracket on, and they go, you know, right here on this passenger side of the car. Those were a real pain in the ass. Those did not come out easy at all. On the driver's side, they came out. They weren't easy, but they were not nearly as hard as these were. These were in there a lot tighter, or the adhesive that GM puts on right here, that I don't know if this was just better or more of it was put on there, I don't know, but they were in there good. So that's the only other thing, but in all reality, it wasn't bad. So yeah, we'll give you an update later on.
Today's tech tip with Adam Hack. I'm at Adam Hack. So, #1 problem I see with today's brakes, whatever, disc brakes,
on GM stuff, right?
Pretty much applies to everything.
All right.
Is what happens is you'll get these pads, which these ones aren't too bad. I can actually move these, but a lot of times you'll take them apart and you'll find you have to beat the old pads out of these things. Well, of course, I already cleaned these up, so it doesn't look quite right. But what happens is that your caliper bracket rusts all to hell right here, and when that rusts, it'll actually build up and actually push your little tin out. And same thing with the pads themselves. They'll actually start to rust around here, and the rust will build up on there. And what happens is the pad is so freaking tight that you have to beat it out of there with a hammer. And why that's a problem is when you apply the brake and the pads are pushed in, then you release the brake and the piston will come back. There's nothing to push the pads themselves back other than just the rotor itself spinning and not having any tension on it. They should just kind of lay back. There should be no more tension on it to push it in. But what happens is because it's so tight in there, your piston will push it out, and it'll, you know, the caliper walks this way and works this one in, and this pushes this one in, and the caliper will release. But because these pads are so tight, they won't release, and then they'll just drag, which will lead to, you know, premature wear of the brakes. You know, it'll heat the rotor up, warp the rotor. It all just depends on how bad the situation is. I've seen a lot of times it's trucks. They'll get like a weird noise when you're for some reason you only hear it when like you're backing up and turning or doing something. It's just weird, but it'll be because these things are dragging. And I think what happens is as for whatever reason when you're backing up or you're working the steering or whatever, it must cause some deflection or something in that rotor or something to get these to push back a little bit. Maybe that's what you're hearing. I don't know, but it's a weird situation, but it happens all the time. So when you do these, you do your brakes, you want to make sure you clean this up really well. And when you're done, you want to be able to take your new pad. And obviously I don't have the tins in here, but once you put the tins in here, you want to be able to slide it real nice and easy. You don't want it so loose that it's banging around, so that'll cause a noise on application. But that's the key. It's the tech tip of the day.
All right, guys, got the brakes done. It's 4 bolts on each side. It's 2 that hold the caliper in place, 2 that hold the caliper bracket in place. Oh, and then the 5 bolts that go on the wheel. We slammed it back together. It's getting kind of late. I have stuff to do. He has stuff to do. So there it is. We took it for a test drive. Everything works. So there it is. Now we're gonna go put a tune on my pickup dump truck. Guys, we're in my pickup dump truck. We're gonna release factory horsepower that is restricted by factory because the government's.
Yeah, that's it. More along the lines of torque management, but whatever.
It's the government.
It's Obama's fault.
Yeah. What are we gonna do to this thing, Garrett?
We're gonna pretty much turn off all the torque management for the most part. Change a couple transmission parameters, make it shift cleaner. Put some timing in it. We'll change some rev limiter stuff.
Sprinkle some timing in there.
And the power enrichment, we'll mess with that a little bit so it ramps it in quicker. And that's about it. There's a couple little tweaks and stuff. You know, without putting a wideband in it or anything, we're not going to fine tune the mixture for now. And what's the point if we're not going to leave, you know, if you're not going to leave it stock? Just like, no, I'm just going to get carried away with it. It's going to be pretty close the way it is. But
down the road, it's going to need the FME treatment.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. Once I get this thing, I got to pull the tune out of here and spend these credits.
And by spending these credits, spend my $100.
Plus tuner fee.
Oh, okay, I see how it is now. With all your friends, you son of a bitch.
Gotta figure out how to remember, you know, how to use this thing. I haven't tuned anything in a while.
Professional tuner right here.
Yeah, no, not a professional tuner.
Right.
I'm more like a guy that knows just enough to be dangerous.
So when this thing throws a rod, it is not your fault.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
If it throws a rod, it's got to be GM's fault. It's just got to be.
If that's the case, we're gonna flash it back to stock and bitch about it.
Yeah.
And erase this video. All right, guys. It's the next day. We didn't shoot an outro. Tuning the truck didn't go well. It says it has a fuel controller module out of a Cadillac CTS-V. Kind of weird. Don't know what's going on. HP Tuners was kind of freaking out on us, doing some weird shit, saying that we didn't license it, even though we did license this vehicle. So yeah, we're gonna chalk that up as a fail, do some research, figure out what's going on, and probably get a hold of HP Tuners and tell them what happened. And yeah, so like Garrett explained, we weren't trying to go in and do like crazy shit, you know. We're just trying, mainly the thing is I wanted to do is turn off displacement on demand, active fuel management, whatever you'd like to call it. It's a problematic prone system, and the best thing to do with it is to disable it to prevent things like lifters collapsing and then not reinflating and being down cylinders and things like that. So yeah, and then the transmission, just try to make it shift better, not be so lazy and shit like that. But yeah, so that didn't go as planned. Probably not gonna mess with it today. So yeah, anyway though, we're up to 120 subscribers now. Thank you to the 120 people that have subscribed. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. And yeah, this is kind of a different pace of what I usually do, and that's just how it's gonna have to be for winter. Obviously, we're not taking my Camaro out in salt. It's supposed to snow tomorrow, so I'm gonna take it for one last little rip around the block before the roads get salted down, and then that's it for the year. You know, we'll see you in 2020 with the Blind Marrow. Do have winter projects planned, so I'll film some of that. So look forward to seeing some winter projects on the Blind Marrow, and yeah. So hope you guys have a killer week. Hit Monday hard and all that good stuff. So thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, and all that stuff, and I hope you continue to do so.